everybody, welcome to my channel, Wonderfully Made. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. I really appreciate it. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. I'm wishing each and every one of you health, wealth, peace, love, happiness, joy, all that good stuff for this year 2019. And so yes, guys, it's time to declutter. I have definitely jumped on the 2019 no buy, low buy bandwagon, and I gotta curate this thing, okay? Now that being said, because I won't be buying makeup or beauty items, which I don't need anything, I have backups of everything that I really love. I'm gonna declutter some categories more than others because I do like to have a variety of products to choose from, and to kind of curb that appetite to shop, I'm going to be shopping my stash quite a bit. And so I want to make sure that I have enough items in my collection so that I'm not bored, and so that I have the opportunity to rediscover some things, you know, put to use some things that I may have used once or twice. At any rate, you get it. We're going to start with foundations because it's just time, okay? Now, this video is an inventory slash decluttering video series. So for the inventory purpose of this video, I believe I counted 47 foundations, and that is absolutely, utterly ridiculous. I'll be the first to admit that, okay? Yeah, so we're gonna, but you know what, we're gonna take care of that right now. So now the first foundation is my YSL Touche Eclat foundation. I wear the shade B70 Mocha. Love this foundation. It's definitely in my top 5, and hopefully the camera is picking it up. I am just about out of this foundation, if you can tell. I don't know if you can or not, but this foundation is about right here. I literally have the hardest time even pumping foundation out of the pump. The last time I used this, I had to actually take the top off and scrape around the sides, but I'm determined that I'm going to use this up completely. And so yes, definitely keeping this. Love it, love how it wears, love the shade match, love the finish. Top 5 foundation, almost through with that, so I'm keeping it, and I already have a backup. This is my MAC Prolong Wear Nourishing Waterproof Foundation, and I have the shade NC45. Normally NC45 is too light for me, but for some reason this particular line in MAC foundations oxidize. I mean, like, it really oxidizes a lot. And so when I first put it on, it looks really light, but by the time it sits on my skin for a good 15-20 minutes, it morphs into my perfect shade match. I like this foundation. I love the satin matte finish that it gives. It's definitely long wearing, but I don't think I'll be repurchasing this, and I'm definitely going to back to MAC this container there. This is the Fenty Pro Filter foundations. One is in the shade 420 and this one is in the shade 370. I thought that the 420 was a bit dark on me. It oxidizes a little bit darker than I typically like to wear my foundations, but it works. You know, it does work for me, especially if I use concealer to highlight and all that kind of thing. But when I mix a little bit of this with this one, it morphs into my perfect shade. I actually finished this. This is the Urban Decay Naked Skin Foundation. And this is fairly old. I don't even remember what color it is. I like this foundation. I really enjoyed this foundation. I did use it all up. I wore this foundation primarily for no makeup type of days, where I didn't need full coverage, because for me this was definitely light to medium full coverage. So anyway, finish this one up, so it's time to toss this. I don't even know why I still have this because it's pretty empty. This is the Tarte Amazonian Clay 12-hour full coverage foundations. I have one in the shade Deep, and this one is in the shade Tan. The Deep fits me perfectly. I absolutely love this foundation. It's definitely in my top if not my top 5, definitely my top 10 foundations. But this one is pretty old, and this shade is too light for me, so I'm going to pass this one along to someone else. I do love that foundation enough to where I did purchase a backup of it. So I do have a backup of this foundation in the shade Deep. So I have that ready to go. Another foundation that I'm going to part ways with is this Honest Beauty foundation, and this is in the shade Java. And this is a cream foundation. This is what the shade looks like, and I have used this foundation. I've used it a ton, actually. I like it. I don't love it. This is definitely not a long wearing foundation at all. I do like the color and the coverage. Don't want to keep this. No, I'm gonna get rid of it. Some other foundations that I'm definitely going to be parting ways with is my L'Oreal Infallible foundations. I love the Pro Matte foundation. I absolutely love the finish. I do have to mix shades in order to get my perfect match, but it's worth it to me because the foundations are only, what, $10, I believe. The only reason why I'm going to get rid of these is because I never ever reach for them anymore. I did not like the Pro Glow foundations as much as I like the Pro Matte ones, but yeah, I'm going to pass these along. Now, another foundation that I'm very fond of is this Too Faced Born This Way foundation, and my shade is Chestnut. Love the color match. Love the finish of it, that satin matte finish. It looks beautiful on me. I am just about finished with this bottle. If the camera is picking it up, let's see. Yeah, I am just about finished with this one, so I'm going to leave this one out so that I can use it up. This foundation, without a shadow of a doubt, I will be keeping. As a matter of fact, this is one of those foundations that I will forever have in my collection, if at all possible, and that is my Estee Lauder Double Wear foundation. I wear the shade Amber Honey, and again, guys, yeah, I'm just about finished. I don't know if the camera, I'm pretty sure the camera is not really picking up how much of this foundation I have used, but this one is pretty much used up, so I can get rid of this because guess what? You can already have a backup. Now, these are some foundations that I purchased and I never really got around to giving them a fair shot. These are the foundations by The Ordinary. These foundations were all the rage. I mean, there was this ridiculously crazy waiting list for these foundations because they're so cheap and they're supposed to be so good. Now, I did try one of them. I forgot which one I tried, but I do have 3 shades. This is 3.2N, and that is what that looks like. I also have 3.1Y, which is of course more yellow undertones. This is the neutral one, this is the yellow one, and then I also have here, yeah, 3.1Y. So I did try, I think the one that I tried is the 3.2N foundation, and I didn't like it. I absolutely hated it. Needless to say, these are going, okay? If you have a lot of hyperpigmentation like I do, I don't think these will necessarily provide enough coverage, but of course it depends on what you like, but for me, no. Next, here's this IT Cosmetics CC Plus Illuminator in the shade Rich. This makes me look dead. I absolutely look like a gray zombie from Walking Dead when I put this on, but it's absolutely awful, okay? Bye. This is my L'Oreal True Match foundation in the shade Nut Brown. Absolutely love this foundation. For the longest, this was my absolute favorite drugstore foundation. I then switched over to the Infallible line, but I still absolutely love this. I just never use it, and in fact this is probably expired at this point, so I'm going to be tossing that. I have two stick foundations from Iman Cosmetics. The one that is my perfect shade is called Clay 4. And as you can see, I don't know if you can see this or not, but I have pretty much used this up. But I will be scraping what's left out. It evens out my skin tone. It wears wonderfully, long wearing all day. Just enough coverage for an everyday, no makeup type of look. I love this stick foundation. I'm on this no buy, so I'm not going to repurchase it, but yeah, this will probably end up back in my collection at some point, but I am going to go ahead and use this one up. Now this foundation I purchased and never filmed a video on it, and so I will do that. This is the Natasha Denona Pore Vanishing Matte Foundation. I have worn this foundation a few times and I do like it, but I do want to film a complete review and wear a test using this foundation, so yes, I am going to keep it. I'm also definitely going to be keeping my Lancome Tint Idol Ultra 24-Hour Makeup Foundation. I'm just about through using it, so I am going to use it up. Surprisingly, I don't have a backup of this foundation, but this is probably my third bottle of this foundation, so I absolutely love it. Also staying in my collection are my NARS foundation. I have the Sheer Glow foundations in the shades Medium Dark 3 and Medium Dark 4, Medium Dark 4 Macau and Medium Dark 3 Cadiz. I do have to mix these two foundations to get my perfect shade. I am so over mixing foundations, oh my goodness, but these foundations cost too much for me to be getting rid of them, okay? So your girl will be using these up. But once I use these up, I will likely not repurchase those, even though I really do like them. But NARS hooked your girl up, okay? NARS came out with this foundation right here. This is the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. I wear the shade Caracas, my perfect shade match. Love this foundation. I love how it looks on me. I love how long wearing it is. I love the coverage. I think I have a video where I use this foundation, and so if I can find it, I think I do, I'll link it somewhere in the cards. I love all of the NARS foundations, but this one I don't have to mix it, and so this will definitely be a repurchase for me at some point. The next foundation I have is an absolute staple foundation for me. This is the Dior Skin Forever foundation. Oh my goodness. I'm going to jump out on a limb here and say that this is probably my #1 foundation. Yeah, I think if I had to rate all of my foundations right now, that this one would be my #1, maybe #2 foundation, but I absolutely love this foundation. This foundation looks like skin on me. The color is perfect on me. It wears all day on me. It stays matte, but not a drying matte. It's almost like a satin natural matte on me. Love this foundation. I am just about out of this one as well, and your girl had to buy a backup because Dior is playing with me and they have changed their formulas, and I am scared to death to even try it. but thankfully I won't have to try it anytime soon. I absolutely love this original formula, and I'm so glad I was able to get a backup of it before they sold out. I have this Dior Backstage Face and Body Foundation. This is definitely a new love. I may just have to get a backup of this one, okay, because I love it that much. If I want to have a no makeup day, I'll put this on with my hand. You know, I'll just moisturize and use my hand to put this on just to kind of even out my skin tone a little bit. Put a little bit of mascara on, a little bit of lip gloss, and go, okay? And I love how this will just even my skin out so beautifully. If I want to build this up, I can build this foundation up to full coverage. It is so lightweight. It does not feel cakey or heavy on me at all. I love this foundation. So needless to say, your girl keeping this one and may have to break her no-buy to buy a backup. Now let's get to something I'm gonna go ahead on and just finally part ways with, and that is my Marc Jacobs Remarkable Foundation. I've always had kind of mixed feelings about this foundation. It has been hit or miss with me since I purchased it. Sometimes I put it on and it looks beautiful. Then other times I have like a slightly grayish cast, and then this foundation, I don't know, I just haven't figured out how to make it work for me consistently. And I have so many other foundations that I love so much more than this one, so it's just time to go ahead on and toss that one. Now I have here my MAC foundations. I have NC50, NC47, and NC45. I used to have to mix NC50 and NC45 to get my perfect shade. Then they came out with the NC47, which is a perfect match for me. I love these foundations. Studio Fix Fluid Foundation was a staple for me forever. When I was first learning how to apply my makeup and started actually purchasing makeup, I started off with MAC. I love these, and at one point I just could not even imagine my collection being without these MAC foundations, but I have so many that I love so much more. It's just time to part ways with these. Now the NC47, I'm definitely going to continue to use, but because I have to mix the NC50 and NC45, it's time to let it go. So, I mean, I am going to keep these and try to use them up, but you know, so that I can back to MAC the empty containers. But I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm probably not going to repurchase these MAC foundations. I'm like really surprised that I'm saying that. I have here the Urban Decay Naked Skin One and Done Hybrid Complexion Perfector. This is like a BB cream by Urban Decay. I really like this. I like to use this for no makeup type of days, especially in the summertime. It has an SPF of 30. I am about done with it, so I'm gonna just use it up. Now next I have this cream foundation by Fashion Fair, and it is in the shade Butterscotch. I've used this quite a bit. This is one of those foundations that I have had to make work for me because it is slightly off. And so I am going to go ahead and part with that. I'm definitely going to be keeping my NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation. Absolutely love this. I do have a video where I used this foundation, and I even think I did a wear test, and so I'll post that in the card somewhere or in the description bar below so that you can check that video out if you want. But I absolutely love this foundation. Oh, and I wear the shade Sienna, so I will be keeping that one. I am going to be parting ways with this Revlon Color Stay foundation. Never did like this foundation. It never has worked for me. I really wanted to try to give it a fair shot, but I just don't like it, and so I'm getting rid of that one. I do have this Tom Ford Stick Foundation in the shade Sienna. Of course, I am going to be keeping this. I initially had a sample of this foundation and loved it. Okay, I don't know if my skin is just a little bit different from when I had the sample, because it was quite some time ago when I had the sample. And I purchased it because I noticed that the shade on Beautylicious website, they were down to 2 left of this particular shade. So I think they may be phasing this shade out, and this shade is a perfect match for me. The few times that I have worn this since I purchased it, my skin produced an excessive amount of oil, and I don't know why. But I do want to play around some more with this foundation with some different primers and powders to see if I can make it work for me, because typically I don't get really oily, but with this foundation I did, and I found that to be really weird. But you know, I spent my coins on this, so I will be wearing it and using it up. Okay guys, I'm almost done. I have this black opal stick foundation. I actually decluttered this in my previous declutter video, but I ended up keeping it because I couldn't find anyone who wanted it, and I really liked it. But I probably have used it twice, and so I'm gonna let it go. These Wet n Wild foundations are amazing. I love the coverage. I love the finish. Now granted, I have to use 2 to get my perfect shade. I have the shade Mocha and Cocoa. I have to mix these 2. I really like this foundation, guys. This is a really good foundation, and I think it's what, $6. So because it's so affordable, I didn't mind having to purchase 2 of them. But the truth is, it stinks. It smells like paint, like glue. I don't know, it smells like a mixture of glue and paint. It stinks something terrible. So I don't know, do I want to keep these or do I want to get rid of them? And so I'm going to go ahead on and keep these just to have them around. Now this is the Becca Ultimate Coverage Foundation in the shade Maple. Oh my goodness, guys. And if you have dry skin, you might want to steer clear of this foundation, because this foundation is so matte. This by far is the most matte foundation in my collection. And so I really have to moisturize my skin as well as use a facial oil, because this is so matte. It's uncomfortably matte. So as much as it pains me to do, I think I'm gonna have to let this one go as well. I don't know, don't want to let it go. I don't want to use it up, because I can make it work. I'm gonna use it up. Now this is the Milani Conceal and Perfect Foundation in the shade Amber. I really like this foundation, and look, it looks so gross, guys. I know, just, you know, what can I say? At any rate, this is a really good foundation. I really like the coverage. I love the finish of it. It's not very long wearing, because it does tend to kind of break apart on my skin. But you know, if you're going somewhere and you're only going to be out for a few hours, it is a really good foundation. But again, I have so many other foundations that I like so much better, so I'm going to go ahead and part ways with that one. Last but certainly not least, I have these 2 foundations from Chanel. This is the Le Tint Ultra Tenue. I'm probably mispronouncing that, foundations. I have one in the shade 501 and 601. And as you can see, these are literally the sample bottles that they keep at the Chanel counter. When I asked the girl for a sample, she didn't have any little containers to give me the samples in, and because these were halfway done, she gave me the whole little containers. And as you can see, I still have a good bit left in each one. And so I am going to attempt to use these up. Oh, I do have one more foundation here. I forgot. I have this cream foundation by Mary Kay. And and this is what that looks like. And as you can see, I did hit pan on that foundation, but again, I never reach for it. It does wear a bit heavy on me. I do feel like I have foundation on when I wear this one, and so I am going to get rid of this. So anyway, guys, I don't think I did that bad. Okay, I really don't think I did too bad. My foundation collection has been reduced by nearly half, and so I'm very proud of me. All of the ones that I did keep are ones that I actually use and love. And so yeah, that's it, guys. So next I will be decluttering my concealers, eyeshadow palettes, everything. Okay, I don't even know where to begin when it comes to tackling my lipsticks. Okay, but we're gonna do this. We are going to do this. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for sticking through this video. I really appreciate your support. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, the way my life is set up right now, it is very, very hard for me to be consistent. I have a new grandbaby. I have a 1-year-old niece who I help care for. I am a business owner. Last year I kind of slacked off a little bit in my church involvement, and so I am getting that back in line. And so I am going to do my best to post a video, at least one video a week. That is my goal. That is why I'm going to ask you to not only hit the subscribe button, but hit the notifications button. And I know I'm asking for a lot. You know, I'm asking you to support me, even though I cannot be as consistent as I'd like to be, but I am going to do my best to be consistent. But if you hit the notifications button, at least you'll be notified when I do post a video. And I really do appreciate you guys. I really, really do. And so yeah, that's all I have for today. Thank you so much. Remember, as always, that you are fearfully and wonderfully made by God, and He loves you. And I'll see you in the next video.